today's video, I'm going to travel back in time, back to the Granblue era. Because I haven't been talking about my fight games on this channel. So like, share, subscribe. The gameplay you see right now is me kind of relearning the game. So a lot of it is rust. So you're going to see a lot of drop combos. You're going to see a lot of me kind of limit testing my characters and like kind of figuring stuff out. But that's besides the point. Enjoy the gameplay, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today I want to kind of talk about the simplification in fighting games today, because there is some. I'm not about to be one of these old heads, arcade heads talking about back in my day. No. But the new age can't sit here and say there are some easy button mechanics in the game. So I do want to kind of talk about it. I do want to talk about my feelings towards the route that fighting games are taking. And yeah, let's get started. So we've come a long way. We went from just having Street Fighter 2, you can arguably say Street Fighter 1 in arcades, to so many different versions of fighting games, from more traditional like KOF and Street Fighter, to your 3D fighters like DOA and Tekken, to your anime fighters like this game here, Granblue, which I would consider Granblue kind of a mix of traditional and anime. But you also have Under Knife and Birth, the BB Tags series. Like, we've came a long way. You even got the arena fighters that nobody played, like One Punch Man. But we came such a long way. But with that growth, we've seen fighting games kind of mold into different aspects. For instance, if we go back to Street Fighter 2, that was the discovery of combos. So combos weren't even supposed to be in the game. If it wasn't for Street Fighter 2, we wouldn't have combos whatsoever. It's supposed to be more of a I hit you, you fall, it is what it is. It went from I hit you to I hit you again to I hit you again. And people like, what is this? But I like that shit. Combos created, right? We have the 8-way movement creation with Tekken, which I don't even think Tekken really created it. I want to say Virtual Fighter did, because I believe Virtual Fighter came out first. Somebody can quote me on that. Then you have the surgence of anime fighters, this new air dash wave, this new movement waves, different ways to jump in KOF. There's so many mechanics and things that have came out. But now we're kind of in this, I could call this the gray era. Not the gray area, the gray era. So you have the birth, the fall, the resurgence, the renaissance, then the gray era. Like, we're out of the renaissance of like amazing games, and we're in that gray area where people feel like these games are terrible. Like, they're watered down. They're not really competitive. They're ABC button press type games. Now, if I already said this, if I had to sit down with a new age player and an old head, and I had to choose a side, I would be in between. I will 100% be in between, because I agree with both sides. You know what I'm saying? Now, hear me out. I do believe that there are easy mode mechanics in all fighting games. In Granblue right now, the game you see me play, there are a limitation of 3 button presses for auto combo when you're close. I do not like auto combos in my fighting games in any capacity. I feel like auto combos in any games it gives the wrong sense when you're starting off a game. Now, once you later understand and learn the mechanics, yeah, you're gonna eventually go away from that. But in certain games like DBZ Fighters and Granblue, it's kind of becomes a part of the system. You're going to use auto combos. You might not use the full link. You might use like 1, 2, and then go into a combo. Sometimes I'll just do close into my combo, into my special move. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can link high, low, high with this, but you still got to remember that auto combo is a part of it's always going to be there. Same with DBZ. There's a lot of tournament players that tell you some of your combos start off with auto combos. Even when you do your air jumps, your air attacks. You don't have to do. I play on PlayStation. You don't have to do square, triangle, jump, cancel, square, triangle. You could just press square, square, and it'll do the medium for you. Like, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. However, to sit here and say that fighting games are easier than back in the day, I highly have to disagree with you. Let's go back to that Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2, you never really had to manage the things you need to manage in games now. You never had to. You know, I understand footsies, you know, Okazeme, spacing, zoning. I understand all those concepts, but those concepts still apply to majority of the games now. The only one that I will 100% sit here and agree with you that, okay, I might not agree with that to an extent, is DBZ Fighters. And that's because how DBZ Fighters work. But in that same sense, you could say Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 did not follow the traditional rules of footsies, the traditional rules of neutral. It didn't really follow that. But that's besides the point. You have so much more to manage and be cautious of in these new fighting games that it calls for more critical thinking. Now, let me give you an example. I always, like, as much as I do not like playing DBZ Fighters, and I will admit, I do not like playing that game like that. Mainly because I haven't learned it, right? I'm a scrub. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm not gonna sit here and lie on this channel like I'm not a scrub at a certain game. DBZ Fighters has so many different aspects. You have the reflect aspect. You have key charge if you want to risk it all on the key charge. You have 7 meters that you have to be aware of. You have 3 characters that you need to understand, like Capcom vs. Marvel. You need to know where their health at, what's their blue health at. You need to know, yes, there's indicators, but you still need to keep it on your head. As well as you have what we call Dragon Rush. Now, Dragon Rush is something that if you are an old head or a person like me that still hasn't grasped the concept of somebody can dash at you at any time, if you think you're going to outzone them, you're going to get fucked up. You're going to get fucked up, but that's something you mentally have to know. You know, that's something you have to know off the top of your head. I'll use something even closer. Another game is Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is that game in the gray area that nobody really can say it has been dumbed down. They're trying to say it was Strive. Now, I haven't touched Strive. I didn't play the demo, so I don't know. But when I play Rev 2 and I play Core, whatever it's called, those games are like night and day. They're not exactly the same, but you can tell that Rev 2 added stuff that Core had. You know what I'm saying? Like, Core is an amazing game, and Rev 2 is an amazing game that stands on its own in the new era. But I can arguably say Rev 2 is harder to play than Core. Core is more timing based and execution based, which is fine. And trust, there's a lot of games in the past that are super execution based for you to do good. Third Strike, anyone. That is execution based to the T. But Rev 2 is somewhat execution based. You still can't get away with certain stuff that you could. It just, I wouldn't say it simplifies it, but it adds more to it. The only thing that simplifies is when you actually roam and cancel, the timing kind of slows down a little bit more. So it allows for you to do more. Actually, it slows down a bit more. What am I talking about? A little bit more. But other than that, you still have stuff like neutral roam cancel. You have in the middle of your attack, purple roam cancel. Like, you didn't have to worry about that in Core. You didn't. So to say Core is harder than Rev 2, it's honestly debatable. It's 100% debatable. But like I said, I'm a person that we can't also get off, like I said earlier, you can't get off with saying that these new age games are, they're easy. You can't. They might have less thinking capabilities, but it's not easier because you, like I said, you have KOF, the new KOF 13, which was probably considered the best KOF next to 2002 and 98. That game is fucking hard. Like, I can't do it. And I'll admit that I can't do it. So it's a two-way street. It's like I see both sides. Like the old heads aren't wrong, but they're not right. And the new kids aren't wrong, but they're not right. Now, I will say, how do I do this? Because old heads gonna get mad at me. We need to respect people who respect us in the fighting game community. You, just because you're an old head and you played in them arcades and you did this and you did that, does not earn you respect now. There are plenty of people who played in them arcades and it's still dog walking new players. Look at Daigo. So I realized that was kind of going off ranty, so I did a little bit cut and edit right here. Old heads. Because I'm technically an old head, but I didn't start playing fighting games till like around 09, so I'm technically an 09er. But we understand what y'all did for the fighting game community, okay? I understand that if it wasn't for y'all sitting in them arcades, it wouldn't have put that competitive drive into a scene. Then that scene grew because y'all kept being competitive and starting that camaraderie. Now it's grown to what it is today. I understand that 100%. Y'all set the seeds for us to flourish in this era. However, you have to understand that these new games are not meant for you. It's like this. It's like when you watch a cartoon now, back when you used to watch cartoons back then, like watch Blue's Clues. I'm being dead ass serious too. Watch Blue's Clues now and then watch it when it first came out. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Watch Pokemon now and watch it back when it first came out. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? And then you'll realize this isn't for you. I hate to tell these old heads this, but the new age fighting games aren't meant for you. They're not. Like, yeah, there's games that are gonna always pay homage to back in the day, but these new games are tailored to the kids that are in college, that are in high school, that are new age fighting game fanatics that want to come in. And we know a lot of people in this new age, I hate to say this new age, but a lot of us don't want to grind for reward. There are a lot of people, not all, but there are a lot of people that want that instant gratification, which led to things like auto combos, because it allows for people to get in and get that instant gratification without training as hard as we used to. That is 100% fact. You still need to train to survive, but we know how the FGC is right now, where people quit and be at every game if they win or lose. We know how it is. We gotta admit that. But going back to the old heads, the truth be, it's not really for y'all. Like, y'all can still thrive in these games, and I'm not saying you can't thrive in these games, but y'all have to stop looking at what came out in the past and then throwing it out on the future because you want to go back to your glory days. It's not gonna happen, bro. It's either you gotta just adapt. As much as I don't like adapting to the times, I just started playing during the time where it was being created. I have to adapt to the times. Y'all have to do the same thing. And it's not saying that you still cannot be skillful in this era. You can be hella skillful in this era. Like the dude I'm playing right now, I'ma whoops my ass in all Guilty Gears. Like, I'm just good at this game. And I'm decent at this game. I don't practice it the way I used to, as you see. But you adapt to what it is. And if you can't adapt, I understand where the new age is coming from. Like, bro, if you can't adapt, you just sound like a grumpy old man that can't play fighting games no more. So you reliving your glory days. A grumpy ass man and or woman. And or whatever your preference is. But I understand y'all do deserve y'all respect. Y'all did put in them hours. Y'all was in them trenches. Rain, sleet, or snow, wasting your quarters. Your mama's well good on her money on them arcades. Doing tournaments when tournaments wasn't really even thought of in the FGC. Y'all did that. And I 100% respect y'all for it. But I'm gonna end the video there. Like I said, my thoughts are I see both sides. I agree with both sides. I disagree with both sides. But at the end of the day, for me, I personally like that old school feel. I ain't gonna hold you, but this has been NappyHeadMilly. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.